Hi, good morning. Happy first day of fall. Let's adjust the sound here a little bit. There we go. Hi, good morning. Happy first day of fall. Can you tell that it's the first day of fall here at Rogers? We have been slowly getting ready here at Rogers Gardens for all that kind of fall goodness, and we've got a ton of pumpkins coming in. They're putting stuff out right now, so if you hear the forklift behind, that's what's going on. But I am Sarah Smith. I'm a horticulturalist here at Rogers Gardens, and I haven't been with you guys in such a long time, so hello. How are you all doing? So I'm going to show you some of the really cool pumpkins that we have coming in. This is our second round of some of the most unusual ones that we have got for the first time this year, and you're not going to find them anywhere else. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about the story about the people who grow them, which is really kind of amazing. Show you some of them. I could literally stand here for a half an hour and just hold them up and name them, which would really take a half an hour because we've got a bunch of different ones going on. So I'm going to show you some of my current favorite ones, but even more are coming that I haven't even seen yet. The boxes aren't even open yet. So I have a lot of hope that there's really some cool things in there. Let's get right into it. So we have been carrying pumpkins here at Rogers Gardens for a very long time, and we have that great reputation for having some of the more fun and unusual ones. But as you start going into stores, the popularity of kind of the weirder colors and stuff has really gotten spread around, and now you can walk into a regular grocery store sometimes and find the weird white ones, and sometimes even find the gray ones. But this year we have pumpkins coming from a farm up in Half Moon Bay. It's run by Tony and Stephanie. They are from a long line of pumpkin farmers. They have an 18-acre farm up there, and they do not sell their pumpkins to anybody else except Rogers Gardens. So they sell their own at their little farm there, but they don't sell them to any other retailer except for here. So we have some super duper unusual rare ones that you are not going to find anywhere else. They are grown with just their friends that come in and help harvest. It's all family run business. Stephanie drives the tractor around on the farm, which is pretty cool. And what makes them so unusual, and you can see by this guy, is a great example. This one is going home with me. The way they actually pick them, they pick them with longer stems. So they are not mechanically picked. They're actually hand-picked and cut. So when it's time to harvest, they get all their friends, some of their old college buddies, they all get out on the farm, and they actually hand-cut each pumpkin. So they're grown with crazy amount of care, and that's how you're going to get a really cool unusual stem, even on something small like this, that even sometimes has the little leaflet bits on them, the little tendrils still going on. You can see here on this guy, it's got the little tendrils still on it, which is really, really amazing. So it's really fun. And even some of them, I didn't get a chance to grab one this morning because there's just so many pumpkins coming out, but even some of them will still have green growing leaves on them, which is really, really amazing. So it's really kind of a neat thing, and such a neat way to support a small farm like that we can, you know, not just these big factory farms where they've got tons of different properties all over the place, and they're just picking them with tractors and they're doing it mechanically, and that's when you get the little short nubbins on them, but they're actually picking them by hand. So that's how you get these really cool ones. So let's jump into what some of them are, and I'll answer all of your questions for you, and we'll talk about some of the fun things we have going on here afterwards. But I could, like I said, stand here all day long and show you all kinds of different ones, and even new stuff's coming out. But one of my new favorite ones that I've never seen these before are the wolf pumpkins. So this is a wolf pumpkin, and they have these crazy big stems. Some of them are really turned and swirly and corkscrewed. They're not all tall like this. I picked this particular one because I love the stem to pumpkin ratio is almost the same, which is pretty amazing. But these are a good, nice one for carving. So I'm definitely going to take this one home with me, and I'm going to have my daughter and I carve this one this year because it's just too cool. And I like the big, tall ones for carving because you get more space. But they are some short, kind of squatty ones too, with the big stems. But they're all these orange ones called wolf pumpkins, and these are just so cool, so different. I've never seen anything like this before. So when these first came out, we started putting them on the floor, I was instantly like, this one's mine. There's so many cool ones. So as they start unpacking the boxes, I know new stuff's gonna come out, but they all have really gargantuan stems like this. So these ones are very cool. This one is a new one for me too. This one's called one too many. And what's really interesting is that this one and this one are the same type of pumpkin, but look at how different they are. That's what I love about people who do smaller farms, is they're not so afraid to do something that's unusual, where they're all, you know, a lot of the farms and stuff out here that are these big, huge corporate farms, they want to make sure that everything looks almost exactly the same. So it's a little bit different. So that way there's a lot of continuity in things like grocery stores and Trader Joe's and things like that, right? But when they do stuff like this where they don't really care, this one here, which obviously super unusual and super weird, is the same as this little round guy here, which is almost like perfectly round. Ooh, I don't want to drop one, but I hope you can see that. But yeah, it is the same one called One Too Many, which I think is a super funny name. I've never seen these before. I love the coloration on this. I think it's really, really cool. And all of them have this really kind of neat like striping like this on them, which is really amazing. This is a new one too that we just got today that I've never seen before, called Moon Shadow. And they are all so different. Like I said, I did not have enough room on my table to grab all of them, but some of them have gray in them. Some of them are these really beautiful peach colors. This is kind of my new obsession at the moment, especially for the pumpkins that I have inside my house, are these beautiful peachy colors. So this one here is called Moon Shadow. I think I might be taking this one home too. I already have so many pumpkins, it's silly, but I love, love, love this color. I think they're really particularly pretty when you pair them up with the gerandels, which are these guys here that have that beautiful pewtery kind of green color. They look really beautiful, and in my house with all my color decor, this really fits out perfectly for me. But Moon Shadow, I think that's so beautiful. We also have little tiny warty ones. We have big warty ones. We have these little, this perfect cute little desktop size ones like these guys here. Aren't these super cute, especially for like your kids giving to the teachers and things like that, or just taking to your office because you want to have a pumpkin on your office table. These ones are really great, and the color is just so pretty on some of these. I believe this one is the Rembrandt. There we also have a lot that are really good for cooking. So not only are they good for decorating and for carving, especially like these guys are really good for carving. Some of the bigger, more thick-walled ones are very good for cooking. So these are the gerandels, and I got a really green one and I got a really gray one, just to kind of show you how much variation can be from batch to batch and pumpkin to pumpkin. And I love that these have the big stems, so not like the ones that you're going to find in the grocery stores, but you get that nice big beautiful stem on there. But they're a really good cooking pumpkin, and we have a really great recipe on our website for how to stuff a pumpkin and cook a pumpkin, which I'm gonna do this weekend. But they're really great for cooking as well, and they make great presentation because you serve a whole entire pumpkin like this with a little lid on top, which is the top of it, and you pull that off and everybody just scoops out from the inside, and the flesh inside is really great for cooking. And we're actually going to do a video with some of our favorite recipes and some different ways to utilize them for cooking. The lovely Rosemary and Suzanne will be doing that for you, so you'll get to see all kinds of really great things. Rosemary is our gourmet food buyer here, so she is the best cook, and she brings in stuff all the time for us to try, and it's always so amazing, and her stuff is fantastic. So she's got a really refined, beautiful palette. So we also have a lot of these really great ones for stacking. So I love stacking pumpkins, so I grabbed a couple different ones. We have these squatty little white ones. We did get some new white ones in. I have some down here. So some of the bigger ones, sorry, I'm gonna pop down real quick. So some of these ones are really nice because they have the little shorty stems, so they're great for stacking. Of course, you can always cut a stem, but these guys naturally have the little short stems. But we got some nice, good white ones with stems too, if you're not looking just to stack, or if you want this one to be the top of your stack, it's always nice to have that little stem. But stacking pumpkins are super great. We have a lot of really good ones. And the other one that we have that's really good for cooking, and if you don't want to, say you're just cooking something for you and your family, you don't need a gargantuan pumpkin stuffed with all kinds of amazing goodness. These little guys here are great for cooking too. These are, I'm gonna say this wrong, I'm sure, Koju Jigu, I think is how you say it, but these are cooking, a really good cooking pumpkin as well. And I believe we do have a video or a recipe specifically for this one too. So these are really good cooking ones too, but also the color is just so beautiful. So if you grab one now and you're like, okay, I'm gonna cook it down the road, or I'm gonna cook it for Halloween, it's always great to decorate with these too. So you can always just kind of have those ready to go. But we have all kinds of beautiful stuff. There's more stuff getting put out right now. I'm watching them right now, put them all out. They're especially doing a lot more of these Gerandel ones. These ones go fast. We got our first shipment of some of these big pumpkins in a couple weeks ago, and they're already almost all gone. So they go very, 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 very quickly. But yeah, these are some of the really great ones that are coming in from that Half Moon Bay grower, which are just absolutely so amazing. I have more down here. This is a Rembrandt. Look how cool that one is. I like that it's kind of a combination of these peachy colored ones and these really beautiful silver colored ones. So if you're doing a combination of them, these ones really go super great together. But yeah, so many different kinds, so many different varieties. Like I said, if I picked them all up and showed you each one, we'd be standing here forever showing you all those. Our Halloween room is open too, so if you want to come in and grab a pumpkin, and I would suggest do it fast, because like I said, they sell out so quickly, especially the weirder ones. They get picked over very, very fast. So definitely come in today, because they'll all be put out within the next hour or so. Almost all of them will be out. But our Halloween room is open too. So if you've been watching some of the live streams, we've been kind of touring you through that. If you haven't seen them yet, go check them out, because we have them on our Facebook and our Instagram page, and you can see all the amazing stuff that we have going on in there. It is so gorgeous. It is so pretty. The weekdays are a great day to come in because it does get pretty busy here on a Saturday, and we actually will have a line. The line goes pretty quickly, but you will probably experience a line on Saturday and Sunday, especially in the afternoon. Earlier morning is a little bit easier to get in there. We are already getting ready for Christmas, which is really amazing, because we'll have two things going on at once. They're getting ready to put the train out, so they're getting that area all cleared out. They're trimming the trees currently to get that, so that's some of the noise that you're hearing back there too. So the Christmas train is coming. I have seen some of the cool stuff that's going to go into that display. It is going to be adorable, and you're definitely want to come see it, because I'm so excited. We've got some really fun things planned for that little train area. And then the Christmas room will be open really soon. That's happening in October, which is pretty amazing. So we'll have both things going on. So you can come see the Halloween stuff, and you can come see the Christmas stuff at the very same time. So of course we're live. We also have our succulent topped pumpkins. I was gonna bring one to show you, but with all the stuff I had on the table, I just didn't have room for one. But that's where they actually take the pumpkins and they actually put succulents on top of them. They make a fantastic hostess gift. They're so beautiful, they're so unusual, they're so cool and different, and they last for an incredibly long time. So great for an office, great for just having it home as a centerpiece for a table. They're just really amazing, and they're all made here in-house by us. We all make them, which is really fun. They let us all come in and make them, and so we all get to be creative, but they're all handmade right here, which is really kind of a neat thing as well. So they're absolutely beautiful, and we have little ones, we have big ones, all different kinds of sizes, all different colors of pumpkins as well, and a lot of them are done on the pumpkins from the Half Moon Bay farm. So it's kind of neat too, because not only is it a small farm that's growing those pumpkins, but they're all made here in-house, which is really kind of cool. So supporting small businesses, yay! I love that kind of stuff. So all kinds of fun things happening here at Rogers. We have corn stalks as well, so they're really great for putting around in front of your patios and stuff, and getting that fall front display ready to go. We have a really beautiful fall display that our merchandising team put together just the other day that looks absolutely gorgeous, so that can give you some kind of great inspiration. Big pots of mums are here. The white mums are here, which is everybody asks for all the time. We have some really beautiful pots right now. They're just starting to break color, so those are great, and you want to come in and definitely get those soon because those get picked over really fast as well, but they're all ready to go. You don't have to repot them. They're in a nice little plastic cachet pot, but they actually look either like stone or kind of like terracotta. So it's just something you can just sit on your porch, put a couple of pumpkins around it, boom. It looks amazing and well planned out, and something super, super easy that you can just grab and go with, which is really fantastic. So we are all ready here for you to come in, get all the stuff that you need to get that fall feeling, because it is the first day of fall today, which is super amazing. So happy first day of fall. And if you have any questions, I will answer those for you now. Like I said, we are live, and if you came into this a little bit late, you can always go back and rewatch some of it so you can know the names of all these different things. But like I said, make sure you come in ASAP because these things go super fast. So do we have any questions currently?
Yes.
Yeah.
Is the flat orange one a Cinderella pumpkin?
So there's different ones. There's Cinderellas, there's fairy tales. I can't remember if this is Cinderella or fairy tale, because that is a Cinderella. Yes, that one's a Cinderella. The fairy tales are the more tan, kind of more knobby ones, which we do have. I just didn't grab one because those ones are super heavy. Those are really good cooking one. I actually cooked with that last year. That was the one I used last year. I think I'm going to do one of these girandels this year. But those ones are really great and good for stacking too, because they are kind of flat and squatty as well. So yes, that one is. And we do have some little rounder white ones, not just these flat white ones as well, that are getting put out. And we have cheddars too. I didn't even grab a cheddar. Like I said, there's just so many to grab. I couldn't grab them all. But cheddars almost look like a miniature version of the Cinderellas, which are really, really cute. So those are really good if you want to stack all kind of the same color. Instead of doing 3 different colors like this, you could definitely do that with the fairy tales and with the cheddar pumpkins too, which I think is really, really fun. We also have gourds and stuff that are coming in, all different kinds of gourds too. So, and little mini ones with crazy tall stems. Some of them are the mini ones without the tall stems, but we have some with the crazy tall stems as well. It's just too many pumpkins to gather up this morning for you all, but there's a lot, trust me. Any other questions?
Why are they different colors?
So there's just tons and tons of different varieties. They crossbreed them. A lot of times too, if you've ever grown pumpkins and you get little volunteer pumpkins that come up in your yard the next year, you'll notice that those ones are a totally different color and different shape, even though they came from one maybe like this. So say you're growing a big wolf pumpkin in your yard, one of them rotted or got picked by a little critter that actually got a hole in there and there's seeds in there. Or sometimes too, I had some pumpkins that I had sitting on my porch for a really long time, and then one rotted and I didn't realize it, so when I went to move it, it had all fallen apart. So I had washed some of it down because it left a pretty big stain on my patio. I wasn't being very careful about that, but I washed some seeds down into the garden, and those actually started growing, and they gave me a totally different color than any of the pumpkins that I had that year. So what happens is when they crossbreed together, it doesn't necessarily change what the pumpkin is going to set out like, but it changes what the seeds are like inside. So that way when they grow, it's going to be a cross between the two. So maybe you crossed a white one and you crossed an orange one together, and you're going to get something crazy and neat and weird and stripy like this. Some varieties are not incredibly stable, meaning that every single one is going to be very different, just like this one. That's why I really actually love this, is because look how different the shapes are, right? Totally different shapes, but same pumpkin. So some are a little bit more reliable in the way that every single one's going to look almost the same, especially the little tiny, really hard white and yellow ones. I had a little like this. These ones, I've grown these ones quite a few times. I find that these all almost look exactly the same. Sometimes some will be a little rounder, some will be a little shorter and squattier, but this is a very stable variety. Both of these are girandels, but look how different they are. For one thing, it's different when you pick them. So this one is probably a whole lot younger than this one, so it's a lot more green. But you can get a lot of really interesting variations, and that's when they cross together. So you have 2 different colors crossing together, making a seed inside the pumpkin. When that seed grows, Just like with humans, you got two people coming together. Your offspring doesn't look exactly like either one of you. It's a cross between the two. So that's how we get so many different colors. And then a lot of these are really, really great for eating too. So don't think that it's just for decorating. It's also very good for eating. So some of them are super sweet, thick-skinned. Some of them, like these guys and the Kojigijus, are nice because they're not stringy. Some pumpkins, as you know, when you cut a pumpkin, it's all super stringy inside. Some of these ones are good for that because they're not. So a lot of times they crossbreed things together to get something. So sometimes it's nature. It's just luck of the draw of what we get, and sometimes it's like, I know this one's a really good eating one, and I know this one's a really good eating one. Let's cross them together and see what we get. So some of it's Mother Nature, and some of it's hand done, which is really kind of cool. But that does not mean GMO. A lot of times people think that that means GMO when something is hybridized. Hybridized happens naturally. The bees help us hybridize things all the time. So, and it's not anything done in a lab. Even when they're crossing things on purpose, they're out there with tiny little paintbrushes. Sometimes I call being the bee. I actually do that to some of my plants at home when I'm trying to get them to pollinate, and I'm not having a lot of pollinators or having a lot of luck with things pollinating. I'll take a little paintbrush or a Q-tip or whatever, and I'll rub it on that one and rub it on this one, so that way I'm pollinating things. But that's how you crossbreed things too, where you're taking one from one and pollinating to something totally different, and then collecting the seeds and saving it. So years and years and years of evolution, which is pretty amazing. Yeah.
How do you keep them from rotting?
Okay, so here's how you keep them from rotting, especially with the succulent topped ones, because you can keep those forever. I had a succulent topped one that I had way past Christmas, even into the new year. So the key is you want to make sure that they do not get scratched or nicked in any way. So if you have a heavy one especially, and you put it outside, maybe on your sidewalk, and that's how mine got so rotted before I even realized it, was that I had dragged it on my sidewalk and I nicked up the bottom of it. So you want to make sure that they don't get nicked, because as soon as the skin gets penetrated, that's when they start to rot. So the succulent topped ones, a lot of people get confused about, because they think that we're growing the succulents inside them and we've cut the pumpkin. You know, as soon as you cut a pumpkin for carving purposes, they rot very, very quickly. You've got just a couple of days sometimes, even with those. Those succulent topped ones, they are actually not cut. They're actually planted, or not planted, but they're actually glued on top of the pumpkin in moss, so there is no nicking, so that way they last for a really long time. So you want to take a pumpkin, you want to really look at it, you want to inspect it, make sure that it doesn't have any holes anywhere in it, that it hasn't been damaged in any way. Like this one is absolute perfection. I just pulled it straight out of the box just now. There is not a single nick or anything on it, so you want to make sure that the bottom is really nice. You also want to make sure that if it is outside, and this is a problem that I've had a few times, is when I'm watering my plants around it, that you're not allowing a lot of water to settle in the base here, because that will also start it to rot. Not as fast as a nick will, but that'll definitely make the stem kind of a weird color, because you've got all that water there, and it'll start to rot the stem and then get down inside of the pumpkin. So as long as you're doing that, you're good. I do find too that having them in the sun, if you have them in a really sunny area, it'll change the color of them, especially some of the more unusual kind of colored one. The orange ones will stay orange, but some of the more green ones, if I have it in a really sunny area, they'll almost start to, just like having unripened fruit in your house, it will start to almost ripen and kind of change color. So I've had some of these Gerandel ones actually turn a little more peachy on the top parts, because it was exposed to a lot more sun. So by the time we got to Halloween, it had a little bit of a peachness on top of it, which I thought was really kind of cool looking. So just don't nick them, don't get too much water on them, don't let water settle in this area. So if you do have it outside and we have a rain or something like that, just go with a paper towel and just kind of wipe it up so it doesn't set without water for too long. And then don't let it rot on your sidewalk, because it will definitely make your sidewalk gross. I did that last year.
When is the best time to plant pumpkin seeds to have pumpkins for the season? Yeah,
So it's too late now to do that. You really want to do that when we, like, typically when I'm doing to plant for seasonal, especially if they're smaller ones, usually once I get my tomatoes planted, I'm probably doing it around June-ish. So, and if I'm doing bigger ones, definitely, but it's actually something you definitely start earlier than later, because if you start too late and everybody thinks, oh, it's fall, I'm gonna plant pumpkins, but you're not gonna get your pumpkins in time for fall. And in fact, as we cool down, they're not going to get nice and big. The smaller ones, if you've never done pumpkins before and you want to grow your own pumpkins, the smaller ones are very, very easy and very, very prolific. Sometimes when you're doing really big fatty guys like these, you maybe get like 1 or 2, maybe 3. So they're definitely a lot fewer on some of the like larger, bigger, crazier ones. Also, the interesting thing is that these take up a lot of space. So depending on how big the pumpkins are, a vine can take up a huge amount of space. There was a really beautiful photo that they gave us. I wonder if you can see this. This is a picture of their farm in Half Moon Bay. Look at how gorgeous that looks. But can you imagine that in your yard? That's acres and acres and acres of pumpkins right there. But a vine can take up a huge amount of space, just like a watermelon. So be prepared to take up a lot of space, especially if you're growing this big guys. That's why I like doing the little ones, because we just don't have really big yards here in Southern California. That's a big part of it, right? Everybody wants to live here. The yards are really small. We're kind of crammed together in some areas. So I want to make the most of the space that I have. So I underplant with some of the smaller varieties. I've done big ones before, but it does take up a huge amount of space. So I tend to try to do the smaller ones just to not take up so much space. But it is too late now, so don't bother planting them now. And then next year, if you do have seeds that have fallen around in there, they'll come up at the right time. You'll start seeing them, like I said, in the spring-ish time pop up, and you'll start getting pumpkins. And then the nice thing is pumpkins last. So that's the really nice thing. So if you've got them coming early, that's okay. They last. Just make sure they don't get nicked. If you want to keep the color really nice, keep them inside. If you want to, like, if you've got a really beautiful gray one and you don't want it to turn peach, don't leave it outside for too long, because it will change, and you can store them. They're cellar vegetables, basically, so they can be stored for an incredibly long time. Yeah, so thank you so much for tuning in. Happy fall. I'm really excited about all the stuff we've got going on. I'm looking at them all right now. They're pricing them and putting them out, so we're going to be loaded with pumpkins, but they go fast. So make sure, if you want a really interesting, beautiful pumpkin, come in at least this weekend, because they go very quickly. And we have a limited supply from the specialty growers who grows all these kind of neat, really weird, unusual ones that you're not going to find anywhere else, which is really amazing. So thank you so much to Tony and Stephanie for pairing with us this year. We're really excited. It's really fun to support a small business like that. It's up in San Francisco area. It's really cool that it's all run by their family and their friends. And that's how we're getting all these really beautiful, unusual stems like that. And I'm sorry, this one's gone. So you're going to come in and look for this one. No, I'm taking this one today. So thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure that you check out our Instagram page and our YouTube page, and make sure you're following us there, because there's all kinds of really fun videos and stuff going on. And our YouTube page is fantastic. There is all kinds of amazing information that goes back and back. Make sure too that you are part of our email list. You'll know when the pumpkins come in, so that way you know when stuff comes in, because we'll let you know about all the fun things, the date for Christmas opening, the date for all the fun, amazing things we've got going on here in the gardens, because a lot of the stuff is very limited, and once it's gone, it's gone. So make sure that you're on that email list, so that way you know what's going on, and you don't come in and go, oh man, I thought you were going to have these really cool pumpkins that I saw on the Instagram thing 2 weeks ago. Oh, they're all gone. So make sure that you come in quickly for these kind of things, for sure. So if it came in a little bit late and you have more questions, just put them down below and we'll answer those for you. We'll always get back to that as well. And thank you for tuning in, and be well and be safe and happy gardening. Bye.